The spirit of creativity lives in all of us. It compels us to move forward.
So tell me, do you love someone?
I paint with colors.
I paint with numbers.
I paint with words.
I sculpt in 3D.
I sculpt in code.
I sculpt young minds to go further.
I design skyscrapers.
I design in mixed reality.
I share ideas.
I share experiences.
I compose symphonies of music.
I compose symphonies of science.
What we create is more than just our work. It is our passion, defining us as individuals and shaping the future we share. Welcome to a world where every person is empowered to achieve more.
So tell me, do you love someone?
Good morning. The spirit of creativity really does live in each of us. It's what fundamentally defines us as humans. So often our lives are given meaning by creating something out of nothing, from a big idea, a dream, or just a simple thought. It is the very essence that allows us to define our shared future. And like many of you, I experienced my own personal creativity through software development. From creating that first line of code, seeing how that code grows and connects with other code, composing in your mind how it will all fit together. When I started, I remember what it was like to watch it compile. Eventually seeing it come to life on the screen as something more than just lines of code. There's just this amazing feeling of creativity that comes with software development. And I see that spark of creativity in our Windows community here at Build, and I've seen it in our community around the world. And this continues to inspire us and form the focus of all of our investments that we make in Windows. Because Windows, at its very foundation, since its inception, has been a place to unlock creativity. And we continue to make great progress on that foundation. The Windows 10 Creators Update is now rolling out to over 500 million people around the world. Windows 10 is now the most used version of Windows on the planet. Windows 10 customers are spending more time using Windows PCs, have higher customer satisfaction, and are more engaged with your apps from the Windows Store than any previous version of Windows ever before. Yesterday, Satya and Harry talked to these amazing advances in AI, where we can all look forward to the benefits of these intelligent machines. Well, we're going to build on that today with a focus not on the machines, but on your creativity. Today, we're going to share 3 big investments we are making in our Windows developer community. First, with new capabilities in the next major update of Windows 10, we're going to help you drive love and app engagement for our shared customers in a growing device, input, and platform-diverse world. Platform wars have made it harder for customers and more difficult for us as creators to reach our customers with clear, consistent experiences customized for each device. We're going to show you how we are fully embracing 3 paths: .NET, Web, and C++ to help you create great app experiences that span across all platforms and all devices. And then second, with new capabilities in the Windows Store and Visual Studio, we have built the most seamless build, test, and deploy workflow for your work on any platform. But even more importantly, we now have this amazing feedback loop that removes the guesswork of what your users want, driving quality into our apps and driving that customer love and engagement. And thirdly, we are all creators. And we all know that amazing feeling when we have the absolute best tool, the right tool for the job, that gets out of the way and just lets our creativity flow. And that is why we continue to invest in the pairing of Windows and Visual Studio to be our home for all of our development, not only for apps on Windows, but for apps that span across all platforms and devices. And then we're going to bring all of these investments together to accelerate the next wave of computing, mixed reality. With that, I'm excited to share the next major update of Windows, the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. It's designed to help you unlock your creativity as a developer and drive love and engagement for our shared customers, whether it be commercial or consumer, regardless of what device they are on. Now, to give you a sense of what's possible with the Fall Creators Update, I want to show you a new experience. It's built on .NET, enables experiences across devices. It's built on the Microsoft Graph. It's distributed through the Windows Store, and it's a universal Windows application. Let me introduce you to a new way to transform your photos and videos, Windows Story Remix.
Go.
Windows 10 enables anyone to express and share their stories with new creative experiences. Story Remix finds your best digital memories and makes you instant video stories. Hit the Remix button to restyle the video and make it your own.
Dude, we need to send this to your mom. She's gonna love it.
Add a personal touch and voila! Your story's done and super easy to share. Story Remix lets you use video in your professional life too. Use your phone to get the perfect shots for your project, and they're sent right to your PC. Fine-tune your movies to tell the story you want and apply a professional look that gets the job done. Then, energize them with the perfect soundtrack created just for your story, thanks to Groove. Go the extra mile to wow your customers with amazing service. For epic projects, the Remix 3D community has a growing library of artistic creations to start your adventure.
Hey, I think this one will work.
Remix 3D tracks the lineage of each work so everyone gets credit for their contribution.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
You can build on someone else's creation by bringing all or part of it into Paint 3D to customize it to your specific needs. Then share your remix back to the community. Get new perspectives by mixing the imaginary with reality using View 3D. Capture multi-angle action with phones you already own. In Story Remix, work together on a project at the same time. And easily apply special effects to add a dash of magic.
It's ready.
Windows 10 is for memory keepers, storytellers, educators, and creative dreamers around the world.
Whoa!
That's awesome, kiddo.
That's great.
Starting today, creativity is the new productivity.
Everyone, I'm Lorraine Bardine, and I work on the engineering team in Windows that brought you 3D for everyone as part of the Windows 10 Creators Update. And we also build all of our first-party mixed reality experiences. Now, as a first-party experiences team, our role is to bring love and engagement to Windows and to Windows devices. Our team is laser-focused on enabling the creator in everyone. Our journey started last year when we announced the Windows 10 Creators Update, including Paint 3D and the Remix3D.com community. And today, I am delighted to share with you how we're further extending creativity by transforming the photos and videos experience in Windows with Story Remix, which includes a brand new video creator. We believe that to be truly creative, people need inspiration. And they need materials to work with, and they need tools to help them be successful. And Story Remix, working together with Remix 3D, provides all three of those. You can use Story Remix to relive your memories, or to create entirely new stories of your own. Whether you have an idea, or you have no idea how to get started, Story Remix is fun, and it's a collaborative way to create stories that you will love. Let's go check it out. So I'm starting here on the Explore tab. This is where I can browse my entire collection of photos and videos. Now, if you have a large collection, it can be really hard to find what you're looking for. So we've made it easy by allowing you to search for people, like my son Oliver, for places like New York City, and even for things you love, like dogs. Thanks to Windows and the power of AI and deep learning, Story Remix can recognize people and objects in photos and videos. So now I want to use my collection to create my own story. So I'm going to go to the Create tab. Now, up at the top, there are stories that are already assembled based on its understanding of my collection. I could relive this day in history, or I could check out all the pictures of food that I've taken right before I ate it. And then, down below, I have projects I'm working on, like this story about a girls' soccer team that I coach on the weekends. I really like to make videos as often as I can because it connects the kids and the parents into the team. Let's open that one. So here we have a video that Story Remix has already made for me. And what's really unique about it is the footage was captured collaboratively by all the parents who were at that game. I just set up a story and I invited them to join. And then they used Story Remix on their phones to contribute all of their footage. So what this means is I have the best photos and videos regardless of what device they were captured on. We built Story Remix as a universal Windows app using .NET and XAML. And then we extended it to Android and iOS thanks to Xamarin. In fact, let's check it out on my iPhone. I'm going to open it up here. OK, so notice how it knew exactly what I was working on my PC, and it opened me to the spot where I can pick up right where I left off. And what I want to do is I want to add a video that someone sent me of one of my players, Gina, that will be really good for my story. So I'm going to find it, and done. OK, so notice how it still shows up right in my story, right on my PC, so I can keep going. We've added pen and ink support to Story Remix, and I'm going to show you with this clip. So first, I'm going to move forward to a good spot for a note. And then I'm going to write a fun note right into the video. You might have seen inking on photos and videos before, but this is new. I'm going to anchor this note to Gina. OK, now check out how the note follows her as she moves down the field and evades this defender. So I think we need this clip. Let's save it. Gina had a phenomenal game. So I'm going to make a highlight video to really celebrate her performance. And I could start making that video totally from scratch, but since Story Remix has already made a montage for me, I'm going to check that out first. Using AI, Story Remix has picked just the best cuts with smiles and action, and then trim the clips to just the best moments. So with no work from me at all, I have a great video with music to match. And it's because of this tool, it took me from inspiration to actually making a video. But I want this video to be all about Gina, my MVP. So to do that, I just touch her thumbnail, and Story Remix will redo the entire video with her as the star. But I want a different vibe. Let's try an even different vibe, because Story Remix can do that too. It can give you a whole new look and feel for your video by just touching the Remix button. Story Remix is going to change the cuts, the filters, the music. OK, so I've got a great video, right? But what if I want to go even further and make more changes to make this personal? I want to customize it. So to do that, I'm going to open up the story editor. This is brand new. And this is a storyboard interface where I can easily add or edit or remove clips. It's really easy to use, even if you've never used any video editor before. I'll show you what I mean. So the first thing, there's this clip at the end where the other team scores a goal, which is unacceptable for my highlight video. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And then I'm going to find the clip where I inked right into the video, move that to the front here. Okay. Now this one I'm so proud of, so we need to let it breathe more. I'm going to extend the duration. Okay. And then if I want to customize it more, I can change up the filters. I can add text throughout the video. I can even add motion like panning and zooming. And these changes make it feel more personal to me, like I'm telling the story I want to tell. Okay. And then if I want to change up the song, I can do that thanks to Groove. Just open it up. Think about what theme I'm looking for. I think I want cinematic. So let's try film. Okay, let's amp up the intensity on that one. Okay, now I'm going to select that one and watch how Story Remix redoes all the cuts to match the beats of the song. This saves me a ton of time because it means I don't have to re-edit my video every time I change the song. Okay, so there's one more clip that I really want to add. You'll never guess who scored the game-winning goal. It was Gina. So let's pull that to the end. There we go. Now on this clip, I want to do something really special to make the ending epic. I'd like to try mixed reality, but I don't really know how to get started. So for inspiration, I'm going to go and open the Remix 3D community. This is a community site that is packed with the cool things people have been making and remixing in 3D. And you can see I opened it up right here in Story Remix, just like I would in Paint 3D. That means that I can get cool ideas and content without even having to leave the app. And of course, I'm showing this to you in our first party experience. But I am thrilled to tell you that we'll be releasing all of these APIs so that all Windows developers can have access to our 3D Cloud in their apps. We want this content, these creations, to be easy to share across apps and the web, just like any other type of content. So we're part of the Kronos community. We support GLTF, like many industry leaders in 3D, as an open standard file format for 3D objects in apps. And we also support the Babylon.js Web 3D engine, so that these creations show up beautifully across the web. So I came here to look for inspiration for that final clip. And there's this fireball here that's intriguing to me. Let's open it up and take a look. Okay, so this fireball is in a scene, and scenes are made up of parts. And I can see all the parts that make up that scene, as well as their creators, and I could use any part as a starting point for my creation. And thanks to a new feature of Remix 3D, the original creators will get credit anytime I build something new. So there's that fireball that caught my eye. Let's open it up. And then if I want more ideas, I can see all the ways other people have been remixing the fireball right below it. And I do have an idea of what I want to do with this fireball. So let me move the video to right where she kicks her soccer ball. Okay, now let's put the fireball in the project, move it over to the fireball or the soccer ball, and then I'm going to anchor it to the object. Let's see how this looks. That's good, but it's not enough. I want to go even bigger, and I want to end this video with a bang. So I'm going to go back. Wait, let's end this video right here with a bang. I'll put it right there. I'm going to go back to our Remix community, open it up, and this time I'm going to search for explosion. Aha, here's an explosion. That'll do. Let's place it in my project, move it into the goal. And this time I'm going to anchor it to the surface, so that means it'll stay in place even when the camera moves during the video. Okay, Who wants to see the epic ending to my highlight video? Let's watch it. Okay, Gina's gonna love that video. Incredible effects like these where you can mix the real world with the completely impossible used to be available only to professionals. But with Story Remix and with the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, they will be available to everyone. We believe that everyone has ideas to share, everyone has stories to tell, and everyone has the desire to create. And we want to help you get started. Thank you very much.
Hello, Build! Good morning. Thank you for that nice welcome. I'm thrilled to be back here at Build with all of you talking about the Windows platform and what we'll do in Windows. What do you think? You like it? I call this graphite gold. Graphite gold. You know, I'm trying to help out all the people who are confusing me and Alex Kipman. I figured I'd, make it a little more obvious. So, what did you think about Lorraine's demo? Pretty cool, huh? What I'm going to do, I want to take you through some of the technology and features behind what she did and talk about how we're expanding those ideas into Windows, into all your apps. So think about what she showed in Story Remix. She was moving between devices seamlessly, even from Windows to different platforms, and it involved multiple users. She used different input modalities. There was touch and mouse and inking, and she took advantage of totally cool new technologies like 3D and mixed reality. And all of those things make the app more engaging. And we want to spend some time talking about this notion of love and engagement and how we can help you solve today's challenges of device input and platform diversity and make it easy for your apps to take advantage of things like 3D and mixed reality, all in a way that will drive higher engagement and love for your apps. So today I'm going to talk about two things. First, a new design system that will power the experiences for a multi-device, multi-input world. And then second, how by connecting to the Microsoft Graph, Windows PCs will enable unmatched cross-device experiences. So let's get started with this new design system. I want you to think about what we're trying to do with Windows at Microsoft. We're building experiences for mouse, ink, touch, gesture, gaze, for an incredible range of devices, which include PCs, tablets, phones, TVs, and mixed reality headsets. This diversity of experiences requires an expansion of our current design system. And today's the day we're going to introduce that system. We call this fluent design. You want to get a chance to see what it looks like and how it feels? Yeah? All right, let's roll the video. What do you think? So, The Fluent design system has 5 elements that we're playing with and evolving. And each of these is intended to help all of us developers build more expressive and engaging experiences. So let's take a look at each and get a sense for how the canvas evolves. Light. Light has a way of drawing our attention. It's warm and inviting, fluid and purposeful. We use it to create an atmosphere and a sense of place. And we need it to practically guide us, to illuminate information. Now, light's been used by game designers and photographers for years, and with Fluent, it'll be an intuitive way for us as developers to draw focus to the right thing at the right time. Depth. Imagine the depth of the real world transforming your flat designs. Think about the typical frame that contains the information you present. Now, break it apart and reconstruct how those things relate to each other in a more layered physical environment. With better use of depth, we can redefine how people stay focused and organized. Motion. Motion design has a special power to bring all of our experiences to life. And I want you to think of this like a director who's making a movie, where the transitions keep the watcher focused on the story, on what the artist wants you to see. We can bring more of that quality to our designs to lead people from one task to another with a cinematic ease, making even subtle actions feel alive. Material. The things that surround us in the real world are sensory and invigorating. They bend, stretch, they bounce like these acrylic cubes, they shatter. We want to bring more of that character to our designs in the right ways, with a physical quality, inviting people to touch and interact. Scale. We've been designing our experiences in 2D for years and years, but it's time to move beyond mere rectangles confined to a plane. The constrained designs of yesterday are giving way to tomorrow's digital worlds, and we're going to use scale to deliver benefits and experiences that once were impossible. Now, this design system isn't theoretical, and it's not just about visuals. It's about interaction models and spaces and how all of these things come together. And what I want to do is go through a particular example and show you how we're thinking about that. And that is Windows Ink. Now, the usage of ink has grown tremendously on Windows. In fact, in the past year, the number of ink-enabled devices that people are using has doubled. And what's even more important is that when we see users engaging with the tons of now ink-enabled apps in the Windows Store, we see higher customer satisfaction and more usage and engagement. As part of our design evolution with Fluent, we're updating the way pens interact with existing Windows experiences to give a more complete interaction model. And in fact, we want to make it so that people can navigate all of Windows just using a pen. Now, what I want to do is take you through this example. And so we're going to start a demo by looking at Edge and think about inking with Edge. So I open up Edge, the best ink-enabled browser for sure. And when I click in the text box here, I can just start writing in a handwriting panel that appears in place at the text box where I'm writing. And in this case, the text box was unmodified. The system handles this for me. But I want you to look at the nice material design of that panel. And watch as I gesture. I can just strike through here, and the ink recognition does what I'd expect. So I can rewrite the word I was writing, and the whole thing is designed to create a seamless experience. My candidates are right near my pen at the top, and the Edge and Bing implementation of suggestions is unmodified right below. So all of this works smoothly and really nicely. Now, I want to show you how the pen is going to help people navigate through the system. I'm staying in Edge here. So I'm on a Surface Pro, and I've got a pen in my hand. And you'll see one of the ways that Fluent evolves here is that I can now scroll right here by using the pen. And if I want to go to a new page, I can just click a link. There we go, and we'll navigate, and once again, I can scroll through the page. And we've thought not just about the navigation, but also about things like selection. So I'm going to press the barrel button on the pen and just drag here to select some text. I get a context menu. I can copy. I can switch to Word. I can, again, use the barrel button to get a context menu. I click, I choose paste, and it's as simple as that to move quickly between apps and experiences. Now, of course, an app like Word supports things like that same ink gesturing, so I can strike through and items are removed. And the sense I want you to get here with Fluent is that the holistic thinking evolves the way the pen works so that I get a natural, complete interaction. But it's not only about navigating through the system, but also making ink work better and be more complete. So once again, with Edge, we're working hard to make sure that annotation and use of the pen with your browsing and reading works terrifically. So one of the new things we're doing is enabling ink annotations in PDF. So imagine here, I'm a contractor, and I'm going to actually ink into this PDF. It's a proposal that I'm writing for one of my clients. So I'll go here and I'll get my pen. I've measured this patio. I'm going to do a refurbishment. I know the width, and here I know the depth. And you see how the ink just overlays the image and the page itself. Now when I'm done, I can just save the PDF. And imagine I send this off to my client. All those annotations are saved within the PDF document, so on the receiving end, when someone gets that PDF, all the ink is right there where they left it. So that gives you a sense of how the pen is evolving. And that's one example of all the things that we're doing within Fluent Design to think holistically about all of these interactions and cross-device scenarios. And you're going to see Fluent Design show up in the Windows shell and in our built-in apps over time and across devices. We want to invite all of you to learn more and participate in the evolution of the Windows design system at sessions at Build and online with us over the next months. Okay. I want to change topics now and go into some depth and show you a range of ways that Windows will connect to the Microsoft Graph. And I have to admit, as a user scenario guy, when I say Windows connect to the Microsoft Graph, I realize it sounds kind of abstract. But stick with me, I think this is actually a pretty big deal. But before I do a demo, I want to set up the problem. Meet Sherry. She's a typical creator. As an interior designer, Sherry's world is filled with possibilities and complexities. At any point, she has a lot of different activities going on. She might be reading or researching or authoring a document or making a presentation. She could be shopping, communicating. She's doing all of those things. Her activities are broad and frequent. One of the things that complicates this is that she does those activities across a wide range of devices. She has not just one, but more than one PC, and the PC is connected to devices like printers, and she uses a camera, and she has a phone, and she's even thinking about getting some of these new Windows mixed reality glasses to use with her clients. This is super powerful, but it's also complex, and it creates some inconveniences for Sherry. And you know, you think about as she does these activities, her content might be stuck on one device, and there's no easy way to pick up where she left off as she moves from one to the next. We think Sherry could benefit from a more organized system, where content and activities can seamlessly move from one device to another. Windows and the Microsoft Graph will enable this system. Windows PCs will love all your devices. Now, today we're going to announce a set of new features in Windows which will bring your files and your activities and even the live content that you're working on from separate device islands into a unified intelligent cloud, where the Windows PC will help you roam from device to device using the Microsoft Graph. So I'm going to take you through some scenarios and explain how this works. First, let's talk about files. Today, I'm thrilled to announce OneDrive Files on Demand. This is a complete solution for getting And what you see here on the screen is her documents folder, which she's been using for years, and she's super comfortable with saving things to documents and opening things from documents. But you can see here the Windows user experience is evolved to show that some of her files are in the cloud and not on the hard drive. Some are on the hard drive, and some are locked to the hard drive or pinned to the hard drive. Let's think about a common scenario. Sherry's going to collaborate with some of her coworkers on a kitchen remodel project. And one of them sent her the beginning of a PowerPoint deck in Outlook, an email. And in Outlook, she said, save this to OneDrive. Maybe she did that on her phone. Maybe she did it at home. And now she wants to work with it on her PC. Well, it shows up in her Documents folder because her Documents folder is roamed to OneDrive with files on demand. She double-clicks, the file is pulled from the cloud, and she's off and running. Totally simple. Nothing all that amazing about that, except that Sherry didn't have to think about where the file was. So that's sort of the first thing. What's happening here is OneDrive Files on Demand is figuring out which things should be on her hard drive. And it does that in an intelligent way, but it also gives Sherry some control over this. So if she goes to the Interior Design Guidelines document, which she looks at all the time, she can make an explicit decision to always keep it on this device. It'll sync from the cloud, and then you'll see right there, it'll be on the hard drive where it will stay. This is great for her personal documents and her work documents, but I want you to also think about collaboration within a business. At Contoso, where Sherry works, there's a whole bunch of people that are all creating documents, and you can see their team sites on OneDrive take up a lot of space. This is 1.37 terabytes, and she can navigate that, double-click files, or pin them to her hard drive in the same way she would anything else, and therefore have the documents that she wants and uses all the time exactly where she needs them. And if someone else makes a change in the cloud, those changes will sync right back down to her device. Now, the last thing I want to mention, I'm showing you this in her Documents folder because making the core parts of Windows that people use all the time work well with this is an important part of the story. And so I'm going to give you one more demo here, and I'm going to create a document which you'll know I'm making in real time. Hello, build, because I'm going to type quickly, and there will be typos. There will be typos. I'm sure it's bad. We'll put a little smiley face here, and I'm going to save this to the desktop. So we'll do save. I'll call this hello, and we'll save it to the desktop. And there it is. Hello is on the desktop. Now, in this situation, the desktop is stored in OneDrive Files on Demand, and so syncing is going to happen, and this enables great cross-device scenarios. So let me move over here, and we'll switch the screens there to show how this works across Windows devices. So on screen, you should see on the left Sherry's brand new Surface Book. And she didn't have to do anything, and there's an icon for hello right there on the desktop. Similarly, right next to that, you see a Windows Phone. And here on the Windows Phone, thank you, I can open the OneDrive experience, and inside there is a desktop folder because Sherry's content is syncing across all her devices. And when I open it up, there is the hello file on her desktop. So what she experiences is the cloud helping her get her content wherever she wants to go. Now, I want you to realize how this works. This hello file is not actually stored on the hard drive of this machine yet, because Sherry hasn't interacted with it. Instead, there's an item right there that she can double-click, and then it'll be pulled from the cloud, as I showed you earlier. But one important thing about how this works is that it's not implemented literally in the Windows shell. It's implemented as part of the operating system underneath the shell and the applications. And so I want to sort of illustrate that directly by showing you in PowerShell here that I can do a dir and use the type command. We'll type hello.txt, and at that point the file will get pulled down from the cloud, cached on her hard drive, and any application can use it, even if the shell isn't involved. So, thank you. So that gives you a sense of how we're going to help users deal with the files that they're creating across multiple devices. Now, I showed OneDrive Files on Demand to you on Windows devices, but of course OneDrive is available on iOS and Android as well, so this story spans those platforms. Next, I want to talk about all the activities that I described that happen on your devices using apps or the web. And to change the way we think about this and give users better tools for managing the complex world of activities, we're announcing today Windows Timeline, the easiest way to get back to whatever you were working on. So I want to take you on a little journey here and show you how Timeline works. And we're going to start on one device, but then we're going to expand our thinking to cross devices. So let's think of Sherry again at work on her Surface Studio. She's running some Windows apps here, like always, and when she goes down to the task switcher button, you'll see the UI has evolved to include Timeline. At the top, as today, are her running apps, but below is a history of all the app activity and web activity that she's been doing. And you see these beautiful adaptive cards? Those beautiful cards were implemented because the app developer called the Project Rome APIs to provide an adaptive card to the Microsoft Graph. For Sherry, this is simple. She can pan back in time and just pick an app. But all of this data being stored in the Microsoft Graph allows some pretty interesting and powerful things to happen. For one, all that data is there so Sherry can search. She just goes up here, clicks the search button, and she can type whatever term she wants, and we'll look at all that activity data. She types kitchen because she wants to pick up her kitchen remodel project, and when she does, the PowerPoint deck opens up and goes exactly back to where she was last using it. So that's nice and handy. Now, this gets even more interesting when you think about multiple devices. So let's imagine that Sherry's got her brand new Surface Book, and she hasn't opened the kitchen remodel file on it, and she hasn't moved it to that device. But when she starts using it, the right things just happen. As she begins using it, Cortana, implemented as an AI in the cloud, able to look at that graph data, recognizes that Sherry was just working on the kitchen remodel project on her desktop PC, so Cortana suggests that she might pick up where she left off. She clicks the PowerPoint item, the file is pulled from the cloud, she didn't need to put it on her PC in the first place, and she picks up exactly where she left off. I think you're starting to get a sense for the power of this. With the data in the cloud, the content and the activity data, we can use AIs to prompt and help make these activities move smoothly from one device to the next. So imagine Sherry's in the meeting with the architect, and they're working on their slide deck. They're thinking about where they might bring the client to look at some furniture samples for the kitchen remodel. And time passes, the architect leaves, and Sherry decides she's going to kill some time by reading the news. So she launches a newsreader app on Windows, and she's looking at this story about life in a small Kentucky town, and she realizes, oh, it's time for lunch. I gotta go. So she closes her laptop lid, grabs her phone, in this case it's an iPhone, and when she heads off for lunch, there's Cortana again installed on the iPhone, an AI based in the cloud, looking at all the data in the Microsoft Graph and knowing she was just using a newsreader app on Windows. So Cortana prompts, would you like to pick up where you left off? Sherry chases the notification and Cortana opens. And you can see here's timeline-aware Cortana on the iPhone serving up the things Sherry's been doing. She might resume her kitchen remodel task. But in this case, she wants to keep reading the news. So she clicks the newsreader link. The newsreader app resumes right back to where she was, and Sherry can keep reading. Now, all of you developers are looking at this and you're thinking critically, and I know you have one question in mind. Well, what would happen if she didn't have the newsreader app installed on the phone? One of the beautiful things about this system is that these apps can register with the Microsoft Graph. And if we know that the app is available on a cross-platform device, then at that point we can prompt the user to install. And that's another way that we can help patch these gaps. So as Sherry moves from her PC to the phone, or the other way around, if a cross-platform app is available, we'll help the user get it installed. Okay, one more thing. Sherry goes back to her home screen and she realizes she's got one more thing she wants to do, so she launches the Story Remix app that you saw Lorraine showing earlier. She was a parent at that game, and she has some video clips she wants to contribute to the story of the Banshees. So she does that on her iPhone, and she heads back to work. When she gets to work, she goes back to her Surface Studio, and of course, when she looks at the timeline view on the Surface Studio, everything she was doing cross-device is there. When she pans down, there's Story Remix she was using on her iPhone, there's the Newsreader app she was using on her Surface Book, and so on. So the Windows timeline, with these things in the graph, all provide a powerful new way for Sherry to move from device to device and resume the things she was working on. Now, we realize that some of you are asking yourself this question. We realize that people might not know what they need to do to get their phones connected to their PCs and make these cross-device scenarios happen. So one of the things we're working on in the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update is a way to help users discover this. You see here a phone item at the top level of settings to help people realize they can connect their iPhone, their Android phone, or their Windows phone to their Windows PCs and get a great cross-device experience. You'll see this show up in Insider builds, and we'll iterate on this and improve it as we go. Okay, I got one more scenario to talk through. I want to see a show of hands. How many of you have emailed yourself a photo or some text to get it from your phone to your PC or from your PC to your phone? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Today, that's kind of a pain. Why don't we solve that problem? So up next, I'd like to introduce what we hope will be the best way to move live data quickly from one device to another: the cloud-powered clipboard. In the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, the clipboard itself will become graph-aware, so you'll be able to do a paste from one device to the other. And this is another feature that'll work without all of you developers needing to modify your apps, but if you do modify your apps, it'll get even better. Let's take a look at how this works. So here's Sherry again in PowerPoint, and as I said, she and the architect were coming up with some places they might want to bring their client. And they decide they should take the client to Ferrofino Interiors Furniture Store. So Sherry wants to navigate there with her phone. All she needs to do is do a copy in PowerPoint, switch over to her phone. In this case, let's imagine it's an Android phone. And in Google Maps, she clicks to type some text, but in this case, she doesn't have to type, because with the SwiftKey keyboard installed, being graph-aware, the SwiftKey keyboard can display the contents of the cloud-powered clipboard. When Sherry clicks, thank you. When Sherry clicks, the last thing she copied is available. She chooses Ferrofino Interiors, and voila, there it is in Google Maps. No need to type or email to get those things from one device to the next. And I mentioned this will work in Windows without developers needing to modify their apps, but because of the Project Rome APIs and the Microsoft Graph, it'll be possible to add value on top of this. So as an example, here are a couple things that we're working on. One is within Windows, we're working on designs to show the cloud-powered clipboard when users do a paste. That's what you see on the left. And on the right, our Office team is working on adding a visual clipboard right within the Office apps so people can choose things that they've copied in the past. And these APIs are available to all of you to enhance your applications as well. Okay, so the system that I hope you've seen here will help all of us. We're all working to deliver this love and engagement for our users in the app experiences we build. And with the Microsoft Graph, we think we can reconnect our users over time and across devices. Our intent is that these features will facilitate people re-engaging on their PCs, using Timeline to go back and do things again, or helping them discover new value cross-device, finding an app they didn't know was on their PC or on their phone. And when users have a great experience doing all those things, that generates more love and engagement, creating a virtuous cycle that's better for end users and better for all of us as developers. In our Fall Creators Update, for the first time, Windows PCs will love all your devices. Fluent design, files on demand, timeline, cloud-powered clipboard, these are all ways that we're going to make our users' lives better. And all of this is possible because of the Microsoft Graph, the Intelligent Cloud, and the Project Rome SDK. I know all of you are curious about how you can get your hands dirty and start doing this, so I'm excited to help you out on that front and introduce to the stage the architect for Project Rome, Abolade Badagessen. Abalade, come on out.
Thank you, Joe. Now, Joe, Terry, and Satya may refer to me as an architect, but at heart, I'm a Windows developer. And the Windows features that Joe showed and the experience that Lorraine unveiled are showcases. They're showcases for our vision of how experiences will work in the future. Engaging, powered by intelligence, and connected across devices. That's the future we're building with Windows 10, with our development tools, and with the Microsoft Graph, and with you, building a stage for your apps. But how do you move your apps forward into that future? Efficiently targeting all the platforms that matter to your users, and continuously delivering value to them. And how do you evolve your apps to be more engaging, differentiated, such that they're right there for your users on the right device at the right time? Let's take a look at how the combination of Windows 10, Visual Studio, and the Microsoft Graph will empower you to modernize the code base for your apps, so you can deliver experiences that drive engagement in the world of device diversity that we're all embracing together. Now, when it comes to modernizing your code base, we know that there are multiple paths forward. Leveraging web technologies, leveraging .NET, or cross-platform C++. And we love all your code. And we also know that sometimes it helps to have a bridge from where your code base is to where it needs to go. And that's why it's so great to see so much momentum with the desktop bridge. Now, when it comes to crossing over that bridge into the future, what we'll show you today is one path. How .NET, with new features that we're announcing today, will make it easier than ever for you to target multiple platforms across not only devices, but the cloud and IoT and beyond. Just like Lorraine showed with Windows Story Remix. Let's jump right in. Here's the app that we're starting out with. It's a .NET desktop app. It's based on WPF, and it's for a sprinkler system company. If we look at the code, we'll see that it has a typical WCF data services client. It has some business logic, and then we have a view model on top of it, implemented in WCF, in WPF. Now, we're going to refactor the logic for this app into a shared library that works across all platforms as well as the cloud. And we're also going to migrate to an Azure Mobile Services backend. And that'll make cross-device features easier to light up later on. Now, we see this transition to a shared code base as one that's so important for your apps that are betting on .NET. And that's why last year we announced .NET Standard, which was a big step forward in making it easier to share code across platforms and the cloud. And that's why today we are so pleased to announce support for .NET Standard 2.0 for UWP, available later this year. Now, with this announcement, we're demonstrating our commitment to empowering you to take your .NET code wherever it needs to go, across the range of app patterns that we see emerging. Let's take a look at our solution after the transition. Now, we've got one shared library containing our core business logic. We can refer to this from all of the platforms that we're targeting. We have a target for Android, for iOS, and for UWP. And we have our Azure Mobile Services backend right here, all courtesy of .NET Standard 2.0. And since we have multiple targets, we can see what that looks like across each of the platforms, and we get a native look and feel on each one. Now, so far, we have separate UI for each target. And if we wanted the UI to be different, that makes sense. But often, we want to share UI for simple forms, for example, the same way that .NET Standard 2.0 enables us to share code. Now, if you've tried to share UI across platforms, you'll have found that the XAML syntax is different between UWP and Xamarin Forms. We've heard the feedback loud and clear. Align XAML syntax to make it easier for you to share UI. And so today, we are pleased to announce XAML Standard 1.0 will be available later this year for Windows, iOS, and Android. The spec is under development right now, so get involved. We want all of your feedback. With .NET Standard, we now have our core shared library containing our common logic. With XAML and Xamarin Forms, we get a native look and feel on Windows, iOS, and Android. And with XAML Standard, we'll have shared UI across platforms. This is powerful. And this is what modernizing your code base looks like with .NET. Sharing code and UI efficiently across platforms and with the cloud. And so we've laid a foundation now in our app with a modernized code base. Next, we'll look at two areas where we're investing to empower you to drive user engagement in your apps. First, our Fluent Design System, which will empower your apps to engage with users across the devices that they use, from large screens to small screens to no screen, and across the interactions that they choose on those devices. And second, the Microsoft Graph, which will empower your apps to stay engaged as users move across those devices and across those platforms. Let's jump right in and make this concrete. Now, by modernizing our code base, we've already laid a great foundation for a user experience that's more engaging. And as a UWP app, we get a lot for free on Windows. For example, our app scales up nicely to use all the additional screen real estate we have available on PCs. And similarly, it now works well with touch, as well as with keyboard and mouse. Likewise, our users can write on text input areas. Let's update the address right here. Unit 3. And we get inline ink input for free. Now, we know that people who have pens love using apps that support the pen well. And so for free, we're enabling the pen to be used in more and more places that make sense across the platform. Now, as Joe showed earlier, you can now scroll smoothly with the pen. And here's another example. The data grid control is such an important control for a lot of apps. And so we've updated the Telerik UI for UWP data grid control to add great support for the pen. Let's imagine that our user is triaging items in this list box here. She can simply strike through, confirm, and it's that simple to manipulate information in an app using the pen. So a user who's holding a pen in her hand is that much more efficient and engaged in your app. Now, as we evolve the Fluent Design System together, the approach that we're taking is to make it easy for you to differentiate your apps with simple code and UI markup changes that bring to life features like the ones that Joe showed you earlier today. And so let's take a look at two examples. First of all, one of the features that Joe showed is acrylic, which is a material that we can use in areas like navigation bars to create a sense of depth. As you can see in this screen's navigation bar, the use of acrylic allows the background to bleed through, and that naturally places more visual emphasis on the data grid control or any other controls that we want the user to be focused on in our app. Here's another example. You might have noticed the connected animations in some of the videos that we showed earlier. Let's take a look at what those look like. Now, we can adopt connected animations to make transitions from one screen to another feel more fluid. And at the same time, they help to guide the user's focus to streamline flows that go across multiple screens. Let's take another look. And you'll notice how your eye naturally follows the image across that transition. Let's look at the code to enable these two features in our application. So first of all, here's the acrylic brush that we defined for our navigation bar. The brush changed the material for the navigation bar to have transparency and blur when we moved the screen around. All we had to do was specify the tint color we want, the opacity, and the fallback color, and the system takes care of the rest. You'll start seeing acrylic appearing by default in our XAML controls with the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, starting with the navigation view. How about connected animations? Well, in a connected animation, the transition goes from one page to another. So all we had to do was use the connected animation service to initiate the transition on the source page, as shown here, specifying the XAML element that we want to have animated. And then, on the target page, we complete the transition, specifying the same XAML element. And that's how we enable fluid transitions across screens in our apps now. It really is that easy. And that's how easy we're making it to differentiate your user experiences with the Fluent design system. As we evolve the design system, as Joe shared, we're really embracing the fact that our users are constantly on the move in a world of diverse devices. And the onus is on us to keep up with them and to deliver experiences that stay at the user's fingertips. And that's why we're connecting Windows itself to the Microsoft Graph. The connection of Windows and the Microsoft Graph introduces two new facilities that your apps can take advantage of. The first facility is devices, and the second is activities. And the APIs for these will enable you to build apps that are deeply connected with your users across the devices and across the platforms that they use. The APIs are built in on Windows 10, and they're available on Android with the Project Rome SDK for Android that we released earlier this year. And today, we are pleased to announce support for iOS with the Project Rome SDK for iOS. Thank you. With today's announcement, we're empowering you to enable the kind of connected experiences that you've seen today across your users' Windows, Android, and iOS devices. But what does this look like for our app? Well, we know that our users have mobile devices and PCs, and that they move from one to another, as they're getting things done. So we can use the Activities API to enable our users to pick up where they left off across devices, whether that's through the timeline or through Cortana. Let's take a look at the code for integrating our app with the Activities API. Now, in a flow like this, the user's flow will start on one device, and it'll continue on another. So what we'll do is use the Activities API to capture the user's task on the source device in context. And then on the target device, we'll use the activation parameters that we get when we're launched to continue the task. The Microsoft Graph will provide the glue between the devices for our user. And Windows Timeline, or Cortana, will be the UI that makes it all work. Here's the code for capturing the user's task. In this case, the task of creating a new customer. We specify the deep link, which is basically an app link that allows us to identify the same app across platforms and the web. Optionally, we can specify an adaptive card here for how we want the visual to look in various places where it gets rendered. And here's the code for continuing the user's task, in this case, on the launch of our UWP application. We parse the incoming deep link, we pull out the parameters that we put in, and then we use those parameters to continue what the user was doing in our UI. Let's see how this looks on a real device with a real flow. Now let's imagine that our user is on the road and he's capturing information for a new customer. Here's our Android device, and I just met a new customer backstage. So let me capture his name right now. Ryerson? Yeah, I think that was his name. We'll capture the address information, save, and so now we've got a lead that we want to follow up on. So now our user is back at his desk and wants to follow up on that lead to set an appointment time, let's say. He brings up the timeline view, and as you can see, the activity that the user was doing in our app on his mobile device is now available here. And it's been rendered using the adaptive card markup that we specified in our code. Let's pick up where we left off. And we're back now where we left off on the Android device. But now we have all the power of the PC available to us to finish what we got started. All we have to do really is set the appointment time. Let's say 2 p.m. Save, and we're done. We just enabled our user to engage on the right device at the right time across platforms. And we did all of this in the same app, built from the same solution, with just a few simple changes to our code and the power of the Microsoft Graph. Let's pause and consider how powerful this is. This is what's made possible by modernizing your code base. And this is what we mean by differentiating the user experience and fundamentally changing the way users experience your apps. We've only scratched the surface today. There's so much more that we know you can do with these capabilities in all of your apps. And we've got lots of great sessions lined up to go much deeper on these capabilities and much more, enabled by the combination of the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, Visual Studio, and the Microsoft Graph. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Abawadi. What we just saw with the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update, it isn't just the next update coming this fall. This is a big opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to keep our customers close to the content, files, and activities they've grown to use and love. It's an opportunity for us as creators to easily modernize our apps and build this new virtuous cycle where the Microsoft Graph and the Windows Shell reconnect your customers to your apps. And it's an opportunity through Windows to drive engagement across the diverse devices and platforms our shared customers are using every day. Well, now, let's talk about our next investment, continuous delivery of your apps through the Windows Store. With Visual Studio in the Windows Store, we now have the most comprehensive workflow solution for apps to be built, tested, and published to any platform with an unmatched feedback cycle to drive love and engagement. We're not just talking about consumer apps, but also commercial apps for use inside an enterprise or out. Well, today, we're very happy to announce that full UWP capabilities are coming to Visual Studio Mobile Center this fall, including automated build support and a full range of Windows devices available in our test cloud. You can set up an automated build pipeline with just one click from any source repo in Visual Studio Team Services, GitHub, or Bitbucket. Once your app is building in the cloud on every commit, you're able to easily run this full battery of tests on real devices in our test cloud. You can see how the apps look on the devices, whether the tests are passing or failing, and even get detailed logs and performance data to pinpoint any issues. And of course, once you're satisfied your tests are passing, you can automate publishing of the app right into the Windows Store. You know, as a developer, the most exciting thing to me is the feedback cycle the Windows Store provides. This ability to listen to your users and continuously improve. And just last week, we announced a new Windows 10 experience, Windows 10s. We believe Windows 10s will become popular in schools around the world, and we're now receiving strong interest from the enterprise. Customers see the clear benefits of the improved security and performance. But what I hope you see is a Windows experience where your apps from the Windows Store take center stage. Windows 10s is just one of 500 million reasons companies like Spotify announced that they will be in the Windows Store last week. And they are not alone. Today, I'm excited to announce that iTunes will be coming to the Windows Store. Windows 10 and Windows 10s users will get the complete iTunes experience, including Apple Music, as well as full support for the iPhone. We are serious about enabling the best experience for Windows users, and we're thrilled to have iTunes be a part of that. Now, not only is the store great for consumer apps and games, we are also working hard to make the store the best place for commercial software. On that front, I'm happy to announce that SAP's Digital Boardroom will be coming to the Windows Store. This is one of the most popular apps from SAP, enabling real-time interactive boardroom presentations. But technically, I love that this app is a web app, a progressive web app, allowing SAP to reuse their web content and take advantage of deeper integration with Windows 10. Now next, I'd like to introduce you to a customer who is already driving success for their business using the Windows Store, building an amazing experience in C++. Please welcome to the stage Andy Mott from Autodesk. Thanks for coming, Andy.
Thanks.
So when Autodesk decided to bring Sketchbook to the Windows Store, why did you decide to choose to build a universal Windows platform app?
So our teams at Autodesk choose the Universal Windows platform because we're interested in providing design software to artists and designers on every type of device with all the different types of form factors and input types that are available. So as an example, the UWP version of Sketchbook was built from the ground up to take advantage of these Windows 10 creative experiences for pen and touch. That enabled us to support devices like Surface Studio and Surface Dial shortly after their introduction. We also choose UWP because we're interested in providing design software, of course, in all kinds of markets. And the distribution capabilities of the Windows Store help us reach new markets and grow our business.
And so what's your experience been distributing Autodesk Sketchbook through the Windows Store?
So we introduced our UWP version of Sketchbook last summer. It became the fastest growing new platform introduction ever, with an average of 35% month-over-month sales growth throughout 2016. In fact, sales in the Windows Store grew faster than even our mobile apps last year. The Windows Store gives us an easy way to reach and address our target customers in our target markets all over the world. When we introduced Windows subscription, we saw an immediate difference in international markets like Germany, China, and Australia, where subscriptions grew faster on the Windows Store than any other platform. We also like the insights that we get from the Windows Store, which help us make sure that we match our product and offer to the markets and customers we serve, so that we have an offer that meets the needs of our customers, meets the needs of our business in every market around the world.
It's just so awesome. So where do you guys want to go next?
Well, at Autodesk, we've been testing new ideas and adding support for Windows Mixed Reality in the Autodesk Stingray real-time engine. Together, these allow our customers to build immersive experiences like never before. So take a look at this example of how we're simulating factories, bridging our design tools with the immersive capabilities of Stingray.
That's great. Thanks, Andy, for coming.
Thanks so much.
So let's all work together to make the Windows Store a success for your Windows apps and the 500 million Windows 10 customers that are looking for them. Now, let's talk about our investments to make Windows 10 the best damn dev box on the planet. It was last year at Build where Kevin Gallo introduced that we were bringing Bash to Windows 10. You were able to download Ubuntu and set it up. And that's the first step on this journey, truly recommitting to make Windows 10 this amazing dev box. Well, we got a bunch of new things to share with you today. First thing I'd share is we're making it much easier to set up Ubuntu on Windows 10 by bringing Ubuntu to the Windows Store. So with one click, you can easily download and set up Ubuntu on your Windows 10 device. I mean, it's amazing to think when Dave Cutler, who's, by the way, still on our team writing code every day, envisioned the design of Windows NT. He thought about this OS that could support multiple personalities. And then there it was with the Ubuntu shell running the Bash shell on Windows 10. Well, we've also had some new partnerships on the front this year. SUSE Linux will also be coming to the Windows Store, so you can download that and have that shell available for your use to run Linux apps. And we are also working with Fedora. So you have now 4 personalities on top of this one OS, so you can, making it the only OS where you can run Linux applications and Windows applications, making it the most productive development environment ever. Now, there's one capability we've heard a lot about that people wanted. You wanted to be able to develop an iOS application from Visual Studio on your Windows PC. Well, let me introduce you to the Xamarin Live Player. Xamarin Live Player is an application here on this iPhone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair it with Visual Studio here, on this PC. By simply running the app here on the iPhone, I'm going to press pair to Visual Studio. It's going to see boom, those two things are now connected. And what that's going to enable me to do now is very easily deploy this .NET C# Northwind project to the iOS device. So let's take a look at that. Let's come here. It is now downloading the application to the phone. And you can see I have the full debugging capabilities of Visual Studio and .NET right here. I have a breakpoint at line 25. So let's just click on Kevin Gallo, and there it goes. The code advances right to the breakpoint, and I can debug. You have the entire capabilities of the Visual Studio .NET debugger with this iOS application. Now, of course, I expect more when I'm working with .NET and Visual Studio. I expect to be able to do live edit and continue. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to put the live player into that mode. Now, this list view I have here, it's kind of dry. So let's add a header. Let's just add some header code quickly in here. And we see here, just like that, the phone app, new code downloaded. And this really is the full interactivity you would expect. Let's change the color of the header. Let's go over here, change some of the code. Oops, let's spell it right. There you go. So the full capability to build rich iOS applications directly from Visual Studio on your PC. Now, there's been one more area we've really invested this year to make Windows the best dev box ever. And that is, it's really in line with our mission to empower every person on the planet. Well, we do quite a bit of work here to, I didn't know that photo was going to get put in there. We do quite a bit of work to make all of our software accessible to everyone. I mean, there's 1 billion people in the world with disabilities, and so that's an incredible group of people that want to have access to all of these great capabilities of our apps. So when it comes to creating a dev platform, we want to create the tools that help us and you build applications that are accessible to all of those people. And so in Windows, we've been investing quite a bit.
Outlook, Mail, Giorgio Sardo, what a year has been.
In Narrator. So Narrator is on every Windows 10 PC. You can run it and you can hear what someone who is visually impaired will experience when using your application on the PC. But you don't actually know, is that a good experience? They can hear your app, but can they? Well, so now with Narrator, we have introduced, or we continue to invest in developer mode.
Reading pink. Developer mode enabled.
And so what's happening now is,
arrow, left arrow.
Gosh, there we go. So what I'm able to do now is navigate my application as if I was visually impaired, put myself in the shoes of some of the billion people that will be using my application in this way. And speaking on behalf of our developers, this is an unbelievable game changer to understand how to make your application great for all of those people all over the world. So to quickly recap, we are just going to keep investing to make Windows 10 the best dev box ever. We've simplified the install of Ubuntu by bringing it to the Windows Store. SUSE is coming to the Windows Store. We're working with Fedora to bring them to the Windows Store. And now Windows is the only platform that can run both Windows and Linux apps. The Xamarin Live Player will enable you to build, test, and debug your iPhone applications from your Windows PC. And with Narrator accessibility mode, you can develop for people of all abilities. So please keep the feedback coming. We're just going to keep investing in making Windows 10 your home for development of apps that run on any platform. Now, each of those three investments, they're pretty cool, right? That's good. You know, each of those investments we're making in our developer community, they're individually are valuable. But sometimes it's when you put all these pieces together that you can see the whole picture. And there's just no better way to do that than looking through the lens of the next frontier of computing, mixed reality. My first experience with mixed reality was a little over 7 years ago. Joe Belfiore came to my office, this is a true story, and just told me, Alex Kipman just showed me a lobster dancing right in front of my eyes on this bench. You've got to go see this lobster. And since that magical moment, I've seen how mixed reality has taught surgeons how to save lives, how it's inspired architects to build masterpieces, and it's dramatically improved the processes of some of our toughest manufacturing challenges. I mean, mixed reality's path, it's still being written, but I truly believe it is going to change everything. I'm so excited to see what mixed reality, where it's going to go with gaming and entertainment. But I'm even more inspired to see how mixed reality is already digitally transforming businesses around the world. I mean, it's amazing to think. Visionary Windows developers jumped in just a year ago when we started shipping HoloLens, and now it's paying off for them. I get so much inspiration from this work. Consider Japan Airlines. Repairing a jet engine is hard. Training people to repair a jet engine is unbelievably expensive. You're taking these jet engines and the jets offline. And how long can you train while it's offline? You have these huge, thick manuals that, are just, they're kind of a mess, consistently they get a little out of date. Well, Japan Airlines, that's not how it works anymore. Their employees are taking these HoloLenses out and they are training with as much time and as much space as they need to learn how to repair jet engines and keep their fleet safe. Then you have Mod Pizza, an incredible pizza chain here in the Seattle area. If you're looking for a place to have dinner tonight, I recommend it. But they're opening 100 stores per year. I mean, it's a huge success story here locally. But the challenge of opening 100 stores per year, it's pretty extensive because every retail space is different. The kitchen's got to be at a different place, different size. What are the flow of the people in the restaurant? How do people sit? How do we get the ambiance just right? Well, if you have to go physically create the props and then move them around and try them out, that is slow and expensive. Now they're able to do all of that retail space planning with HoloLens. And then there's ThyssenKrupp. They build commercial elevators, but the group in ThyssenKrupp that builds elevators for the home, for those that need elevators to help them move around their homes, it's amazing what they've done. I mean, it's truly inspirational. They used to take all these measurements and then iterate to get everything right. But now they've built an application with HoloLens where the installers go on site, visually map the space, and they've already reduced the delivery times of home elevators by 4x. It's companies like these that saw the possibilities that I saw in the Lobster. It's companies like Intel, Acer, Asus, Dell, HP, Lenovo, and 3 Glasses, and many others that are accelerating mixed reality and creativity, making it possible for you to leverage your Windows development skills for this next wave of computing. And this incredible opportunity is in front of us today. To tell you more, please welcome Alex.
Good morning, everyone. Now, how cool was that Autodesk mixed reality experience we just saw? I just love Build. It's my absolute favorite conference of the year. It's a place where Microsoft developers come to celebrate each other. It's a place where our community comes together so that we can learn from one another. Last year at Build, we started shipping HoloLens devices to the United States and Canada, a moment I will remember for the rest of my life. And since that moment, wow, you, my friends, have been creating experiences not possible on any other platform or any other device. You formed a vibrant community and inspired us with your creativity. Over 22,000 developers imagined over 70,000 transformative concepts on HoloLens. 5.5 million hours where people were immersed in your holographic experiences. And we worked together to pioneer mixed reality curriculum, ranging from capstone courses on mixed reality, like the ones at the University of Washington, to courses available via our mixed reality academies. Over 28,000 hours learning how to mix the physical and digital realities. And I just love that across the globe, inspirational mixed reality hackathons are taking place. Let's take a look at how you have been transforming the world with holograms.
There's this event going on tonight. That's the Boston Augmented Reality Meetup.
I am at VR LA in Los Angeles.
Houston HoloLens Hackathon. New York.
University College London.
If it wasn't for a hackathon, we wouldn't even be doing this.
The community is really enthusiastic. With HoloLens, people are looking for new cool stuff.
For the Hackfest, what we decided to do was use the gaze technology that's built into the HoloLens to create a heat map of the viewer's sight.
There's a plane attached to your face, and you fly around by just kind of walking around, and you tilt your head.
We love talking to everyone about it and showing them the work we're doing.
We come to these events supporting other people that are working on really inspiring projects.
So they had a full mixed reality experience of their job site, showing the beams. They wanted to really see, could this precast beam kind of clear this building?
I have contacted my friend who is a muralist, and we're going to do a little showcase of what the technology can do and how it can help any artist.
That ability to actually display information to an end user as they're walking around site and help them with their day-to-day work.
It's not just a tool for business. Already starting now, today, we can do experiences with it.
In order to keep developers happy, you need to give them cool platforms to work with and cool technology.
We have 3 apps in the HoloLens store.
The HoloLens opens up an entire new world of things that you can do.
I am a mixed reality developer, a designer.
The future is here, it's now.
Thank you. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know how many times I have watched this video, and I still get goosebumps every single time I watch it. You inspire me. You inspire the creator in all of us. And from all of us in Windows, thank you. It has been an incredible 12 months. And thank you for the amazing feedback and collaboration. As an example, you asked for HoloLens in more geographies. And we are now in 9 countries. And by the end of the month, we will welcome China, the world's biggest market for virtual reality, to our mixed reality journey. Now, speaking of mixed reality, mixed our realities have become. All this talk in the industry about virtual reality versus augmented reality, who's getting to scale first? And where you, as a developer, need to place your bets. I don't want you to be confused. These are not separate concepts. These are just labels for different points on a mixed reality continuum. We should all be thinking and, instead of all of this talk about or. And means including, embracing, unifying across the continuum. As William Gibson said, the future is already here. It's just not very evenly distributed. In the future, devices will become lenses. Lenses that will allow us to see, touch, and feel mixed reality. Mixed reality will enable us to freely and instinctually mix real people, places, and things with virtual people, places, and things. This will unlock amazing new experiences. Experiences anchored to the physical or virtual world around us. In the future, we will need to choose between transparent or opaque headsets. Devices will adapt instantly, blending the real and the virtual into mixed realities. We are already building towards this future. Our vision has been clear from the start. And this is why, to simplify things, we call all of it Windows Mixed Reality. As developers, we need a single platform, a universal platform, a platform that spans from simple augmented reality to virtual reality, and of course, holograms. As developers, we need a platform that can target PCs, consoles, and fully self-contained holographic computers. Windows 10 is the only operating system that provides this much opportunity for our partners and this much choice for our customers. And with the Fall Creators Update to Windows 10, this future is already here today. Windows Mixed Reality supports the best and most advanced headsets in the market today. From the most immersive and most affordable virtual reality experiences to HoloLens, the most complete and still only fully self-contained holographic computer. Windows Mixed Reality has the most advanced science and most complete platform for mixed reality. We continue to lead the space as the only platform to enable mixed reality devices to interact with each other through a single and consistent user interface, standardized input, and a universal app platform for developers to target. Windows 10 is the only operating system created specifically and from the ground up for mixed reality devices. Windows 10 is the best at perceiving our world and breaking down the barriers between physical and virtual reality. We're the only operating system to support 6 degrees of freedom tracking at world scale, and the only system that doesn't require additional external sensors or complicated setups. With no room setup required, the world becomes your canvas, allowing you to be present in your environment in the most natural and immersive way. Now, I believe that feeling present in your environment is at the heart of what makes us human, and it's the key ingredient to creating mixed reality. Being present isn't just about what you see, but more importantly, it's about having the freedom to move, interact, and explore your world. But with the freedom to move comes the desire to interact. Windows Mixed Reality already celebrates the power of your gaze, gestures, and voice. But something's still missing. In the real world, we hold and use tools that extend our hands. These tools help us create, play, and interact with the world around us. These instruments can give us sub-millimeter precision without complicated setup or the need for additional sensors. Introducing our newest tool, motion controllers for Windows Mixed Reality. Thank you. These motion controllers were designed to perfectly complement our Windows Mixed Reality headsets. No external sensors or cameras to configure, giving you the freedom to move from room to room, or better yet, from house to house. In fact, these sensors are exactly where you need them to be. They're inside the headset, using our industry-defining inside-out tracking technology. Our system is optimized for where you're looking at any given time. If you can see your hands, we are tracking them with high accuracy. Best of all, because the sensors are already in the headset, I am happy to announce that this holiday, starting with Acer, we will have the most affordable headset plus motion controller bundles, priced at just $399 for the set. Are we ready to put it all together now? Forget virtual versus augmented reality. The virtual and the real are already mixing to create an amazing mixed reality landscape. A landscape where businesses are digitally transforming, powered by our Windows 10 Universal Platform. A platform that allows us to be more creative and efficient. A platform that empowers us to push ourselves and our organizations further. With that in mind, I am proud to share a transformative project with you today. Now, this project also happens to be the first deep collaboration between Microsoft and Cirque du Soleil, and more precisely, a collaboration with Cirque's secretive innovation laboratory, the C-Lab. This partnership represents our mutual and constant quest for innovation. And over the past few weeks, we have worked together as a team to create mixed reality tools that are adapted to Cirque du Soleil's creative process. The goal is for them to use these tools for the set design of future live shows. And to further explain and demonstrate our collaboration, please help me welcome on stage Chantal Tremblay, Carl Fillon, and Geneviève Pezan. Chantal is a creation director at Cirque du Soleil, and some of our work includes The Beatles' Love and Curious. Carl is a set designer, and his recent works include Toruk, The First Flight, which was inspired by James Cameron's Avatar. And Geneviève is the project manager at C-Lab. Welcome, friends.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much for the invitation. On behalf of Cirque du Soleil, we're really happy to be part of this development of Microsoft HoloLens. You know, innovation for us at Cirque is our priority. Today, as we're growing faster than ever and we're creating more and more shows, we really think that this technology of HoloLens would help us to become more agile.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Chantal. This tool will be very useful in my workflow. I have been expecting that kind of technology for a long time ago. Thank you, Alex, to invite us to be here.
Thank you.
Our creative process to put a show together for us, it's 18 to 24 months. And that is including from the beginning, when we choose the theme, until we open the show to the public.
In Montreal, at Cirque du Soleil's headquarters, there are big studios, enough to fit the entire stage and all the equipment of our shows. At the end of our creation process, when everything has been built, we install all of that on those studios for a few weeks of rehearsals. Now, with this amazing technology, we'll be able to visualize the same stage and all the equipment into the same studios at real scale, but months before the construction. That will change a lot the way we work.
So let's create a new stage together.
Okay. So now what we see here is a typical stage with the 4 masts holding up a tenth of the big top.
So we had scaled that lower to be sure we fit in the
Yes,
place,
we scaled it down to fit this stage for today's presentation.
So let me show you an example of decision that we have to deal with. You have to know that our stage usually are always of the same height because this is the best possible view that public can have. So when we did the creation of the show Curious, we wanted to have that feeling of a traditional circus ring, and also we want the public to see the painting on the floor. So what we did, we lowered the stage by 35%. So even after many months, even if we looked at it on paper, on computer, or on models, it was a tough decision to take. I would say even a stressful decision. But now, with this technology being all together with a creative team, we would be able to see exactly what the public will experience in the end.
Oui, merci Chantal. And for us at C-Lab, one of our mandates is to introduce new technologies like this to our production teams. So we work all together in collaboration just to make sure that the tools we develop or adapt fit what they need. So let me show you what we've been doing these past few weeks. I'm going to now open a creation menu, and it's insert basic shapes for you, Cal.
Okay, merci Geneviève. Moving primitive polygon shapes help me to fill the available space. And from there, it is easy and quick to establish the right proportions. As a set designer, if you think you have a good idea, you still have to share it with the entire team and make sure everybody understands properly your proposal. Now let's pretend that this cube is a cabinet. A maquette is a great tool to visualize shapes, but still, it is not enough to understand and feel the real size of them and the impact they can have into a space volume. Now I'll take this sphere and I put it over the cabinet, and then I group them together and I rotate it like that. Yeah. Too many times I experiment myself problem at that level. Even if I'm doing very elaborated 2D illustration and animated 3D models. But now with the HoloLens, there is no more misunderstanding possible, because you are into the model.
Great. And one of the other amazing possibilities of the HoloLens is that we can work on designs we have from software that we already use. To show you an example of that, I will upload one of the stage props that we have from a previous show. So it's an acrobatic platform for a contortion number, and it's called the hand.
Oh, yes, all right.
So as you can see, to put a show together, it's a great team effort. Even choreographer could be able to visualize the space they have to put the acrobatic performance, or even a costume designer could see and be helped to create more complex costumes. Speaking about designers, you know, sometimes they are at different places on the planet. So I would like to invite today Michel Laprise, one of our show directors, and Michel is in Europe right now. So he's going to be wearing the new Microsoft headset.
Hi, Michel.
Hi, Michel.
Bonjour tout le monde. I am sorry, guys, I couldn't be with you today, but it's kind of cool to be virtual. I like
Isn't it?
So, Carl, there's two references I'd like to share with you today.
Okay.
So the first of all, it's the hand. I think I was wrong with marble. It's too cold. Let's go with something warmer like this, wood finish.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Nice. And you know, about the background, the turbine, yesterday I was walking in Paris and I stopped by the train station, La Gare du Nord, and it is industrial like this.
Wow. Okay.
Cool. All right, oh my God, guys.
Nice.
We'll have to continue that in Montreal next week because now I have to go because c'est la vie. Bye.
Bye, Michel.
Bye, Michel.
That's awesome. There is nothing like to be together around the concept to take concrete decisions. Now let's imagine we are more advanced in our design and we are ready at the end to present to the result to the team.
Yes. Load full stage.
Wow.
Wow.
That's great. It's beautiful.
So up until now, we have spoken a lot about set design, but let's not forget what drives us at Cirque du Soleil. It's the human performance. So let's welcome the artist, Geneviève.
Add contortionist.
Wow. That works very well.
Add Russie.
So for us now to be able to see that so early in the process is amazing and totally new. Usually we have to wait until we finalize our casting and the artists come to Montreal. But now, by looking at it, we could even make changes of some performance or different casting call. So as you can see with HoloLens, this is a tool which can make our work and save time and money and definitely be a good addition to our toolbox.
Yes, and you know what? Now I'm dreaming to work into HoloLens directly on stage at the real scale with texturing, modeling, lighting, animating. We are closer than ever to a perfect creation tool, really.
Yeah, and during all my years at Cirque du Soleil, I've seen a lot of changes and innovation, and I believe with this technology of HoloLens, it could help our creation process. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Alex, and your team for sharing this technology with us.
Thank you, my friends. How about a huge round of applause for our friends at Cirque?
Thank you.
Wow. What a difference a year makes. The blueprint is in front of all of us. What you just saw was a custom solution done in collaboration with an incredible partner. Similar to the work we did with NASA to allow scientists to walk on the surface of Mars. And similar to the work we did with Case Western Reserve University, which enabled us to have medical students learn about medicine in a whole new way. But imagine the transformative power if these were applications created by you, much like the communication, productivity, or creativity applications we use today. If you're an ISV or an entrepreneur, join us. Imagine the opportunity in presence alone. Conversations where today we put a premium on being there in person. Imagine the opportunity in 3D tools, or the opportunity in digitally capturing people, places, or things. If you're a 3D creator or aspire to become one, or if you have a game or content idea, join us. Mixed reality is a growth opportunity for all of us, and it's here today. As a matter of fact, and in keeping with our tradition of starting journeys together here at Build, starting today, I am happy to announce that you can pre-order the Acer and HP Windows Mixed Reality Dev Kits at windows.com/mixedreality. These are the same headsets that will be available to consumers this holiday. Holiday 2017 is going to be phenomenal, and we have a product lineup that customers really want. I hope you'll tune into E3 to learn more about our Windows Mixed Reality content story for this holiday. Over the past 12 months, we have made incredible progress together. And I invite you to continue building the future with us over the next 12 months. If you're a developer, Visual Studio on Windows 10 is the most complete end-to-end experience for building any app on any platform. And I hope you'll download the Project Chrome SDK to help us populate the Microsoft Graph. If you're a Windows Insider, download the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update and help us iterate on Story Remix, the Microsoft Graph, and our new Fluent design system. If you haven't done so already, I hope you'll join us. Mixed reality is the future of computing, and the future of computing will be built by Windows developers. Enjoy the rest of Build, and from all of us in Windows, thank you.
Thank you very much. Breakouts will begin promptly at 10:45. Again, breakouts will begin at 10:45. Thank you, and enjoy Build.